zu unserem heutigen Webinar, was Sie bei Embedded Analytics beachten müssen und warum Sie sich Embedded nicht entgehen lassen sollten. Mein Name ist Janis Lassmannis und ich betreue die deutschsprachigen Marketinginhalte für Tableau in Dach. Vielen Dank, dass Sie sich heute die Zeit für unser Webinar nehmen. Für diejenigen, die uns noch nicht kennen, wir sind Anbieter von Analyse- und Visualisierungssoftware und verfolgen nur ein Ziel. We help people to see and understand their data. Das heißt, wir ermöglichen es Anwendern, sich schnell und einfach mit vorhandenen Datenquellen jeglicher Art zu verbinden, diese Daten zu analysieren und zu visualisieren. Kinderleicht und ohne Programmierkenntnisse. 2003 gegründet als Spin-off der Stanford University. Unser Hauptquartier ist in Seattle und wir sind 2013 in Deutschland aktiv. Unser heutiges Webinar ist Teil der Reihe Data is the Product, Embedded Analytics mit Tableau. Und ich habe leider eine gute und eine schlechte Nachricht. Die schlechte vorweg, unser Gastredner von Bistory ist leider kurzfristig erkrankt. Die gute, wir haben Ersatz gefunden. Und dann die nächste schlechte, der Ersatz spricht leider kein Deutsch. Das heißt, wir werden das Webinar jetzt durchführen, hoffen, dass Sie trotzdem dabei bleiben. Und falls Sie dem auf Englisch nicht folgen möchten, dann bleibt mir nur Sie auf die Aufzeichnungen der anderen Webinare zu verweisen. Sie erhalten gesondert eine E-Mail im Nachgang mit weiteren Informationen und können sich dann nochmal informieren. Und damit würde ich jetzt ins Englische umschalten. Data is the new oil. That sounds very straightforward at first. How do we drill for this oil? How is it transported and how is it refined? What does the actual business model look like? And what strategies and techniques are used today to successfully run and scale data-driven business? And these are the questions that we're trying to answer in this webinar series together with our partners. So today we have Geoffrey Smulders, Managing Partner of Bistory, filling in for Fabian Zimmer, who can't make it today, I'm afraid. Thank you so much, Geoffrey, for stepping in on such short notice. I'm very happy that you are here with us today.
Janis, and good morning, everybody. That's the best German I can do until now. I'm sorry if we have to do this webinar in English, but as Janis said, Fabian is not able to make it, and I'm stepping in today to talk to you all about embedded analytics. So just a short introduction about myself. So Geoffrey Smulders. I founded Bistory in 2015. We are a Tableau Gold partner. We are active in multiple countries in Europe. And we are very passionate about the topic embedded analytics. Now, embedded analytics, as Janis already said, data is the new oil, but what does it actually mean and why are you missing out? I am very strong about this topic, and I have already said in the past, in other sessions I've done keynotes at conferences I've actually made titles like how to kill your competitors, why embedded analytics. I think this is a market you should jump on. And if you're not thinking about a strategy around embedded today, you will lose market share in the coming years. So diving in, we are going to talk a little bit about embedding and next steps. So embedding, is it a buzzword or is it a reality? The concept of embedding is actually basically of putting a application or analytics application, in this example like Tableau, within your own application or website. Now, is this something that has been hyping for the last few years? Is it a reality? Actually, embedding has been existing for more than 20 years already. This concept has not been renewed recently. It's been done multiple times, but with the evolution of web applications and SaaS applications being so strong today and the HTML5 technology actually catching up to give a rich experience, we see a trend going up in the market. Second of all, we also see that Forrester Research is actually seeing that this is a very, very big market, which is going to be bigger and bigger in the future. Actually, some research studies show that embedding will be a bigger market than the internal analytics market, the internal reporting market at some companies. Why is this? Because I think a lot of companies are realizing that they are being sitting on a bunch of data. Say data is the new gold. That data has been growing for over a number of years. They are now able to market that data back to their clients or back to their suppliers and do something useful with it. If we compare the older companies versus the new tech companies, the new startup companies, we see new startup companies jumping on embedded and jumping on that revenue stream much faster than older companies, but they have less history and less data available to do so. So I think if you're a larger enterprise or a small enterprise that has some history, has been doing business for years and hasn't done anything with their data to the externally facing markets, there's a huge opportunity. So it's absolutely a reality out there. As I said, a market share estimated of 96 billion by 2027. This is Forrester made the research on embedded. To give you some kind of idea, the analytics market or the reporting market, where Tableau and Microsoft and IBM and Click and all the players are today, is worth about $10 billion. So put that into perspective, and we see that embedded is a huge market where we see investments in. From Bistory side, from our side, we've actually seen a very large increase in our business the last few years around embedded. Talking a bit about data-driven, this has been a buzzword for years. Let's do data-driven thinking. Let's make our company more data-driven and organized. Actually, we're talking about data-driven towards value-driven data. So we're going to make the value out of data stronger and use that as the biggest revenue stream we'll have in the future for our company. This is a nice visualization by a company, McKinsey. As you can see, they did an analysis how data and analytics are being used in the past 3 years, and you will see a significant change. It is the larger dot, no minimal change is the smaller dot. If you would look at the logical one, if we see everything in sales and marketing, specifically across all sectors, has done significant and fundamental changes. And I believe that there was also the spot where embedding is the easiest use case. Any sales data, any analytics data about sales and insights about your clients, how they're behaving, what they're buying, is an easy one to do externally facing. So really interesting source to look at. So what we say is probably 80% of the companies over 10 years old are sitting on a gold mine of data. Think of your own data today. Think of your own potential data you have that could be useful for any company out there. If we think of small examples, let's take a retail company, like MediaMarkt, for example. They have been selling electronic devices, retail devices, and utilities for years and years. Various clients. Pretty good idea who their clients are from an age perspective, from a location perspective, from buying behavior perspective, and they are just gathering that data. This is super useful data for companies like or Philips or Sony, who are suppliers basically of MediaMarkt, who get more insight on who's buying their TVs, what kind of people are buying these, why are buying these models, why are these models more popular, what's the actual behavior inside of the stores, because of course these days stores are not any more showrooms, but they are actually data collection units, as I can say it, where products are carefully placed based on the investment suppliers make. So it's really interesting how, for example, a company like MediaMarkt could leverage that data very easily. As an example, there's tons of examples to be thought of. I can share a few more as we go through this slide deck. So a bit more about Team Bistory. Short, as I said already, we're a European Tableau Gold partner. We're a team of about 40 plus people in England, Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium, and we have a very rich experience with embedded and Tableau Please hit us up for more questions if you have any. So embedding back. I don't like to call it embedding. I like to about externally facing analytics or something like customer facing analytics, which I think is a much better term to emphasize this. And then we see three big use cases in the externally analytics world. And number one is the custom portal, the business application is the second one, and the public website. If you look at the custom portal, you have to think of, are you using an intranet in your organization? Do you have something like SharePoint available or a Slack communication platform? Do you have a customer portal for your clients? Is there something they on the website they can log in to and log in with their ID and then see some of their own information available? These could be invoices or things they have on order or some information there. You can also look at an IT portal. There's a lot of smart devices that do a lot of tracking. For example, let's look at websites like Strava that track your devices, or any weight scales that track your weight and have a portal. So those are a few use cases on a custom portal level where embedded makes sense, and I'll share some examples in the next few slides. There's also the topic of business application, because embedding does not always have to be external. Right? The concept of embedding within an application in organization can be very interesting. Let's look at CRM. You're using Salesforce. I think Tableau is a very good example. Tableau is a Salesforce user. And the Tableau dashboards they are using, the analytics they are using, is not per se on a separate server. It's cleanly integrated in the Salesforce application. So they don't have to exit the application at all. They can just go inside Salesforce and look at the analytics integrated beautifully with the application. Think of ERP applications like a Workday, for example, in HR. Think about marketing, where your Google Analytics is completely integrated inside of a platform. These are very, very strong use cases. And why would we embed our analytics platform inside of our CRM or ERP application? It's all about adoption. If you have one place where all applications live, that's much easier for your user. You don't have to go exit to another application. Reverse it, but integrate some parts of your CRM application like Salesforce inside of your Tableau dashboards. In integration within an organization, internal embedding is very interesting to allow better adoption, better satisfaction of your users, better integration of your platforms, which increases the usage of these platforms. Then there's also the concept of the public website. Public website are mostly, we see a lot of use cases in a few national banks and governments that want to inform the public. And by the public, we mean we don't have a concept of a user logging in. We just have rich data available, hosted on a website, which is, in this case, running on Tableau and provides information back to the users. We have a few examples, like, for example, some European instances that have a lot of information and data available about. Let's talk about an example, European Stability Mechanism. European Stability Mechanism, for example, has a lot of data on the countries that are struggling a bit in Europe. Take the example of Greece, for example. Why are they struggling? What's their average capita per resident? What are the loans they have from different countries? Reports and shares this information very openly with the public, and on their public website you can just go in and watch Tableau dashboards popping up about that information. Very interesting. Charity does the same. Non-for-profit, we see the same happening. And everything when it's public or public open data, we also see a lot of Tableau dashboards being integrated. Let's take newspapers as an example. So these are the three main topics: custom portal, business applications, public website. Are our applications we can think of if you talk about embedding. I'd like to say, if you look at customer-facing analytics with Tableau, what are the advantages? There's four main topics. You can interact with your customers on a higher level. You can embed the data within your own portal. show state-of-the-art dashboards and allow them to create their own reports and dashboards also. Second big topic here is you can monetize the value of your customer data. So if you can monetize the value, as I said earlier, with some examples, you can generate new income streams because you can allow your users to pay for reporting, see more interesting insights with different premium models. And we see a lot of companies jumping on this topic because then the investment in embedded becomes an easy one because they will make money with it. Will just generate completely new revenue streams and income streams, which are very interesting, and they can measure the instant ROI on that value. Second big important part is understand what your customers care about. If you send out Excel files or PowerPoints, and I imagine some of you will do that already today with some data about, you have no idea what they're going to look at. But if they're logging into a portal embedded in your website or platform, you can run analytics on the analytics. You can see the insights where your customers are clicking on, what dashboard point, which reports are they opening, what filters are they using, where are they zooming in on. You can measure all that data on the back end of the Tableau system and then run the analytics there, and then have your sales people have more informed and better prepared discussions because they exactly know what your customers are looking at. More insight, more quality engagement leads to more customer satisfaction, which I think is today the most important factor in an organization that has a lot of customers. We are facing an online world where people are very vocal, so having that conversation prepared better, very important. And it's a scalable model. An embedded use case doesn't have to be a big deployment. It's up and running quite fast, and it scales in a very transparent model, which we'll talk about later. So talking about case studies, talked about public and open data. One of the biggest case studies you see today on embedding is Tableau Public. Tableau Public has more than 550,000 authors. And I think they have well over 1 million visualizations publicly running on the website. I think it's the biggest business intelligence report collection that's publicly available on the internet. People share about everything. They share data about Strava, they share their running data, they share data about politics, they share data about history, they share data about Eurovision Song Festival, about soccer. It's fascinating, and it's all cleanly embedded within a website called Tableau Public, and it works perfectly. So I think the biggest example Tableau uses as a showcase that we can scale and use embedding. Very interesting use case. Second one, where we're going to talk about a company called Questback. Probably didn't really hear about Questback. We've probably come across them. So Questback is a solution company that provides market research, employee insight, and customer insight by sending mass surveys to large bases of users. So if you look at employee insight, they will take a client and they will send every employee in the organization a questionnaire. Any topic. This could be satisfaction, how they feel within the organization. They fill out the questionnaires and that gets back to the platform. It's handled by a database, a data lake. And then management or any people or maybe all the employees can log into the platform and watch their insights embedded within the Questback portal as a Tableau dashboard. So the end users don't even know it's Tableau, and that's not important. They just see reports popping up, they see insights popping up, and they see analytics on everything that has been filled out on an aggregated level, just like the way we like to show it, shared with the whole customer base. This is a use case we implemented. I'm happy to answer more questions later. This is a platform that has over 200,000 users running with Tableau on an embedded and for different use cases and clients. Of course, back. Another one is a smaller example, which I think is important. Fireflow company, maybe most of you don't know again, but have come across. Fireflow has an application called Wave. They're a tech company, and Wave is an application that manages the life cycle of the artwork of any retail shop. They work with clients like Lidl, for example, and they manage all the artwork and the whole platform. So within that application, their clients can log in, watch the artwork that's being ordered, what's the supply chain, the delivery routes to all the stores, any orders have to do, any artwork designs they have to look into. They also needed more data insights, more rich reports about average spend and average supply chain, average information about their whole organization, how they're working with FiveFlow. And the Wave application had limited reporting, but changing that reporting constantly with custom-made reports was becoming a hassle, and FiveFlow chose to implement for just over 500 users right now. It's going to grow to a couple of thousand users. And has Tableau embedded within the application running the dashboards integrated to the user. The last one is a company in Belgium we work with, is Partena Professional. They are an HR payroll company. They have employers as their clients, and they have about 40,000 employers who have employee data for over a couple of 100,000 people. So you're looking at data about average income, marital status, absenteeism, how long they're working at the organization, a lot of information about the employee as such. And they wanted to provide more analytics on the employees towards their bigger clients. Now, some of these clients already are working with them for quite a while, getting those analytics, and that was being done in Excel, in PowerPoint, in various formats. And they wanted to show an interactive platform where two things could happen. We provide standard dashboards towards the employers, and we provide the option to have the employers build self-service reports based on their own data, a platform implementation for over 40,000 users being rolled out in HR, which puts them ahead of other HR companies and generates a complete new revenue stream for them. How do you approach this? How do you, after some inspiration, how do you embedding? Well, I think I see three big angles that are important. There's the value proposition, the monetization model, there's the data environment and architecture, and of course, there's the design continuity and user experience. Now, jumping into the value proposition, think a bit about the golden circle. Think about how and what you want to offer towards a market, why you want to offer it, and why you want to make a difference with your data. If you don't know the golden circle, interesting to look it up and think of a value proposition in your business, how to differentiate, and embedding is absolutely a good use case for that one. So how do we do that value proposition, or why? So I think a suggestion we make as a consultancy support partner is that you can work with different models. What we always suggest is always dangle the carrot with free data. So if you have free data available, it could be public data, it doesn't have to be secure per se, some small data to show what you can do. If you move on to a freemium model, for example, you could show them some static, generic, simple, and limited data. It could be interactive, but it could be aggregated on a high level, and it could be shared with them. This is how you get users interested in the platform. They will see some dashboards, say, yeah, this is interesting. They want to drill through down, they will go lower, and then they get stuck because they don't have capability to go lower, but you have the data availability to do that. And then you can start talking, for example, about a premium model. I charge of euros per month. And then you say, oh, okay, if you pay a little bit more, dear Mr. Client, and interactive, deeper data, live data, you can customize the dashboards much deeper, and we can actually create dashboards for you if you want. And this is how you create a consultancy model from your own company. And we see, for example, the HR company I talked about doing that. They are now actually hiring consultants within the organization to create bespoke made dashboard for the larger clients that don't want to do the self-service, want to have rich dashboards fully customized for them. And then you're getting an interesting revenue stream, which is complete and influences your relationship with the client. This is an example of value proposition and monetization. Now, how do you do it? That's also important. There's, of course, the data environment and architecture. If you look at your application, whether it is a business portal or a website, it has to be accessible by all devices. and basically Tableau server is behind it. That's the simple representation of the whole solution. Now, app has to communicate with Tableau server seamlessly towards those clients. Now, there's a bunch of things we can do to set up the whole system. This is an example architecture we have set up for some clients, where we can have the Tableau servers work on different matters, have the databases behind it, have any, for example, an Azure integration, this example, integrated towards the clients. But basically what we want to talk about is that you'll have to look at authentication, authorization, rollover security, development lifecycle, and your integration. If you start with your authentication, basically when a user logs into your business portal, they will log in as Marieke, Catalina, Matthew. And basically it's important that we know who this user is. So the user logs into the application, and then that application will communicate seamlessly with Tableau on the back and say, okay, Marieke is logging in. Tableau say, okay, I don't know Marieke yet. What's the security of Marieke? We'll check that in your application and create that user automatically scripted on the back end without any manual intervention. Because if you have hundreds of thousands of users, you want that integration to be seamlessly with your application. Or that user is already known, it will log in and say, okay, I know Marieke, and let me look at Marieke's data. She's in user group A. She can handle books, that's allowed. I have to filter the data only to this data, so I will show only this data available. So you can use one dashboard, for example, and have role of security added automatically by the application rules by Tableau, and showing that data back to the client, because of course client data is important and has to be separated completely. This is a way you can do it. So we can absolutely work secure, automatic single sign-on authorization within the application. There's no double logins. It's a seamless experience for your user. Basically, there's different ways to connect, of course, to your Tableau server. As individual users, you can use service accounts. You can use a context via initial SQL. There's basically two ways. This is things we define in a workshop with you on site, obviously. Now, last thing is important. Design continuity and user experience. If you look at an application, within an application, the best way to have that experience as seamless as possible is that they don't even know it's different applications. So it's important that the UX of your analytics is completely integrated with the UX of your portal or website. The look and feel of those dashboards and reports have to be exactly the same. That means different dashboards we have as example be flawless integrated within the platform. For example, on the right side, you see an integration with Salesforce, but they have to have the same look and feel of your organization. Here's an example of a portal that has a Pinterest style of overview, where the look and feel is very similar to the whole website, which is very important to be successful within a deployment. So think about your UX, think about your color usage, think about your logos and your design and your letter types. These are parts that are important we will take into account. So why Tableau? I can show you some examples how that looks like. Why doing this in live examples? So if you look at, for example, dashboard here, I have a dashboard which is the financial sales dashboard. Just as an example, this looks very load for a second here, integrated within how it is in a Tableau platform. If it's embedded, it's a kind of a different view. It's very simple to do an embedding with Tableau. I'll show you how simple it is. You just have to available with some parameters on the back of the URL. Embedding. I have to reload this one. Next example then. If it's embedded, it will be cleanly embedded within the website. So basically, if you look at, for example, one of our clients, National Bank of Georgia. National Bank of Georgia, I'll switch to English here, has a website available that has some statistics. They want to share some statistics with the people of Georgia. So if you click on statistics, the old way they try to do it is to use a bunch of Excels, but they're actually changing that with the help of Bistory and Tableau to more interactive visualizations. So if you look at, for example, these loans, I click on that, you will see a simple dashboard is being loaded. You see a dashboard, you see visualizations. I can hover over it, I can change things. I can look at August, but I can also look at another month, July, for example, and that data will update itself. I can look at different filters that are available. And basically, as an end user, I have no idea that this is Tableau. The trained eye, probably the people from Tableau on the webinar will see this, but on the other hand, you will have no idea that this is Tableau and it's running cleanly within the organization. And there's different reports available on the Tableau platform that allow you to look at data and actually look at different insights on this platform. And it runs smoothly, it goes fast, it has all the insights available. And this is a very good example of a public website with statistics that are interactive and available on the website. Now going back to the slides, why Tableau? Why would you do this with the Tableau platform? It's very easy to answer. Some people say, but can I just not build this? Because there's D3, there's JavaScript libraries out there to build visualizations yourself. It seems so easy. True. Easy to simple chart. When you're going to talk about these things I talked before, security, architecture, single sign-on, scaling to 100,000 users, this is where it becomes hard. This is where an investment in a Tableau platform will actually save you money versus developing that kind of business yourself, because that's where the Tableau architecture has been developed for more than years, and it's very strong and rigid in caching, fast response times, very security, the authorization. It will just scale with you. And as I said, we have examples with over 200,000 users, so we can absolutely support that. So what are the next steps? How do you move forward? Well, if you're interested and you want to do some more with us, you want to see an embedding, we do have a 3-day embedding workshop we can talk about. Basically, in a 3-day embedding workshop, we look at your status quo, your organization, and look at what's kind of the idea. Is it cloud? You want to build? You want to buy licenses? You want change management? How do you to the market? And we're going to look at the integration within your applications, your security, your data sources, own data you want to bring, data from clients or suppliers. We're going to help you understand how Tableau is being controlled with the APIs, with the level of detail they can do, with the number of users and accessibility. And we're going to focus on usability, integration, clean integration and branding. What charts are interesting? How do you scale these charts? You want to remove maybe Tableau references because you want to have a clean solution. That's basically how we potentially can help you as an organization. So in just 3 days, can you imagine, can have this thing completely up and running for your organization? It's not a large investment at all. So that's all I have on embedding. This is kind of the end of the presentation, and I think we can open it up for some questions or Q&A if there are any.
Yes, thank you very much, Geoffrey. That's actually something I forgot to mention earlier in my introduction, that you have a question and answer window on the right-hand side where you can post your questions. So if you have any, feel free to do so now, and we will try to answer them. In the meantime, while you maybe type, I can go back to one question that we often get asked that is basically a standard question that comes at the end of any embedded analytics webinar, and that is about the licensing model and the data sources that can be used in an embedded use case. So what are the differences between regular licensing of Tableau for your own use or the analytics case for external?
Shall I answer that one?
Please.
Okay, so there is indeed a difference in price, of course. There's another price model which is a bit cheaper than the standard price model for embedded. The limitations are very limited because basically what we try to identify with embedded is that you're mostly looking at what kind of data sources do you need? You probably don't need 20 different types of data sources. If you're using 2 or 3, it's already a lot. And I'm talking about types, not number of data sources. So a type is Excel, SQL, Oracle, for example. So embedded is limited to 5 data sources to that platform. And we also, for the embedded licensing, ask you to use it only for externally facing analytics. So it's not allowed to be used for internal usage. Let's use it, of course, for your own use case that's towards the external market. And that's a big difference, I think, between the platforms. And that's how we make it a very interesting model towards clients. And I think that the licensing models, without going to pricing details, allow a lot of flexibility to think along with the organization and to make the monetization part interesting. And that's the most strong factor about the embedded. Does that answer the question, Yanis?
I think so, yes. And I think one thing I would add is that for any use case, Tableau as a solution is flexible enough to be customized to exactly your use case and what you need. So there is basically not a limit in how granular you can get with what you want to do. It's just a matter of finding the right custom solution for what your intent is.
Right.
And of,
And that's where we think a lot.
yeah, and of course, then partners such as Bistri are extremely well placed to do just that on site. So I don't see any other questions coming in at the moment. So I think you were very comprehensive and answered all the questions for now, Geoffrey.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, I see that as a good sign. Further information about embedded analytics, what we can do, other webinars and events that you can join will be sent out as an email following up. And then I think the only thing that is left to do for us is thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Geoffrey, for presenting on short notice, and hoping to see and hear you guys soon.
Janice. Soon, everybody.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.